Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Doki Doki Literature Cast, or Doki Cast. I hope you are excited because we have a very special episode, our first ever Doki Doki Debate Club. And because of that, things are going to look a little different. As you can tell, we got quite a few people here on screen. That's right, we are doing 2 versus 2 on a very specific topic. This is how all of our debates going to go. We're going to bring in 2 guests. It's going to be hopefully the 2 hosts as like on one team, the 2 guests on one team, and they go back and forth debating specific topic. Specifically for this topic, for this episode, we're going to talk about, is MC a Doki or a character? So that's what we're going to be talking about. We have the is side and the is not side. We'll say who's on who in a moment, but first, we have a brand new face with us. The one who goes by many names. To make it simple, we're going to call him CMD. I am, at least. They might call him something else. But first off, CMD, tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience with DDLC.
Hello, my name is CMD. And as for my experience with DDLC, it actually starts way back when the game released. I caught wind of it from YouTube, because I was chronically online. What child wasn't in my age group, let's be honest. And it really caught my attention. I liked the art style. I liked the darker side of the game because I thought it was really bubbly. And then I saw that there was a little bit more to it. So I thought it was interesting to check it out. And as I played through the game initially, I started realizing, like, hey, maybe there's a lot more to this that I'm figuring out about myself as well. Because before that, I never really thought deeply about depression or self-harm or anything else in like a really serious regard. But then seeing it in this light really caught my attention to the fact that I was, personally dealing with a lot of the same issues and just didn't really think about it much. So it allowed me to get the help I needed. And after that, I really just never left the community and the game. It basically saved me. So I stuck around. I was there for Monica Colandi, Quirkses, and a bunch of other people. Names that you probably would recognize, like Beluga, Spaghetti, everyone. I've seen like pretty much everyone's content. So I would have to thank them as well for making stuff for me to watch. So I don't know. I should have probably prepared a script or something for this.
Look, all good. That was perfect. Guys, if you haven't already, pause the video, go to the description, go to the collaborators, click on the link to CMD's channel and subscribe and check out and just check out all the awesome stuff that he's produced and pumped out. He's also voice acted in a lot of DDLC related things as well. So look, man, you want some talented voice? If you need some voices for, I'm almost going to throw them under the bus and say literally anything from a 90-year-old grandma to a 3-year-old baby. He's got your back.
I can do a pretty old man.
They see, look, perfect already. Okay, thank you for that. Also, you also should recognize from the last episode, we brought Eli back, or Eli Ori the Cow, or better known as Ellie Ori the Cow. He is back, and he is going to be also debating as well. So, we also have Mason and Mark as well, but you know these guys. Anyways, Eli, Mason, Mark, how are y'all doing? I don't want to leave y'all out. And also, CMD, you too. I hope you're doing good too. How y'all doing, everybody?
I am doing pretty good, hulking egg enigma.
Oh yeah, you're trying to make that stick really hard, aren't you? Yeah, really hard. Well, good. I'm glad everybody's doing good. So let's go ahead and jump into the debate. So this is how this is going to work. We're going to have a kind of the pro and the con side, the positive, the negative side, the is for, is not side. And so today we're doing, is MC a character or a Doki? So we have the is not side, which is, if you look over to my right, probably on the screen, I'm probably pointing that way. I want to make it to where it's pointing correctly in editing post. That is Mason and CMD. And the is side is Eli and Mark. So those are our 2 teams. Now, obviously, this is a debate. This is for fun. We're not here to stab each other, slit each other's throats.
I brought backup.
And look, that's 3 person. That's three person team, 2 person team, and a dog team. Look, it works. Either ways, we're not going to be like yelling at each other. We're not going to be fighting. This is purely for fun. This is going to be great. We want you to engage as well and discuss in the comments, but we also ask you, don't go crazy with it, guys. This is all for fun. Whether we think he is or he is not, at the end of the day, we all love the game, and we all just want to talk about the game. So,
Be civil and respectful.
yes, please keep it that way. So, let's dive in. First off, we're going to start off with the is not side. The people who are going to debate that DMC is not a character. Now, they will have 10 minutes to kind of give their case, talk back and forth with each other. We're not going to interrupt them, really. I may ask a question or two here and there to kind of like see, like, you know, to see if I have anything that might pop up. But we're not going to argue with anything just yet. It's going to be purely the is not side. So, Mason, CMD, the microphone and the floor is yours.
All right, so I got quite a few things written down. First off, I want to say I actually got both sides, but I felt like when I put my stuff together, it was way more MC is not real. So I just wanted to bring that up first. But CMD, do you want to bring something up first?
Okay, so I guess it would be pretty smart to start with the fact that even Dan Salvato, when he was playing Doki Doki Literature Club, called the MC a boilerplate. Basically nothing more than just a self-insert for the player. And also that MC is... he acts more as, like, he says everything correctly for that situation. So he changes based off of who he's talking to.
I was hoping somebody would bring that up, I'll be real honest.
Start off with the big guns.
That's
yeah.
right.
I know I'm not allowed to speak yet. Okay,
Not yet. We gotta hold off. Hold off.
Right.
You'll get your time.
Yes, sir.
I did mention something similar along those lines in my stuff too. It's kind of just like a what do I even say? Just like a character that's only purpose in the game is to like speak for the player. Like, I mean, like we can debate even if like the MC and the player are like the same thing. I know it's like a big thing in Act 3, so check out our Act 3 episode. But I mean, yeah, there's like, I mean, he does have dialogue things like where he mentions like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck happened?" But it's all like, I mean, it's really basic. It's not like deep. He's intentionally designed to be a super shallow character. Like what is it? He's like kind of dumb. He likes anime. Yeah, that's really all I can say. Like there isn't really too much characterization. Crap, I can't even speak. Yeah.
I think
Anything
you may
like
have
that.
just given them some ammunition. You did call him a shallow character, which does go against us.
Favorite was
But-
he did say that he likes anime, he's dumb. He's not saying that if you watch anime, you're dumb. Let's make it that clear now. He's
Hey, I watch
Go
shit. I like anime too. All right. Well, I will
ahead,
not be making
CMD.
about this.
So, let's see. There's also... I had something in my mind, and then I threw it away to say something funny and quirky, and now it's biting me in the butt.
Happens to me all the time. While you're thinking of it, I'll kind of throw a little bit of a curveball out at y'all. So we're talking about, you've made your points about how you don't see him as a character. We do at one point in time and see the character on the screen in a particular CG. We also see his hand once or twice in CGs as well. What would you say to that?
Perfect, actually. That just immediately clogged my memory. So we do see him in a CG. Yes, this is true. However, unlike all 4 of the other characters, he doesn't have a dedicated in-game sprite. He, for a long time until DDLC Plus, was relegated to a fan sprite that people would add into their own mods, not a base game sprite that was available for everyone. He never shows up except for the one CG.
What would you, on that note, when Plus showed up, and we'll talk a little bit more about Plus and everything a little bit later, or dive deeper into it. When Plus did show up, we did see a beta idea or a rough draft, whatever you want to call it, sketch of the MC, but it was never implemented. What would you say to that?
I feel like that would actually lend more credence to him being a character, as well as probably a few other things we're going to talk about later on with the DDLC Plus segment. However, it was still scrapped. It still wasn't used. And overall, most of the game in DDLC Plus remains the same as the base game. It doesn't really change a whole lot about him being a character or not being a character.
I like it. Anything else you want to add, Mason? Are you CMD?
Yeah, I kind of go along with the sprite. Yeah, obviously it was creative, which kind of seems like the Team Salvato had like some interest in making him kind of like a character, but I also feel like that was probably because they wanted to give us like something to resemble the MC for like modding and stuff, maybe. And also, strange enough, it was just concept art. Like, it was just a sketch. It wasn't colored or anything, which is a bit unfortunate. But I guess what's the point of putting a bunch of work into something that they scrapped? So unfortunately, we didn't get that.
Yeah. Good points all around. Any additional points you want to make on the side of he is not a character?
He's a guy.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Look, I mean that's a pretty good case. He's a guy in a faux dating sim game. So you know,
Help me, Sadie.
like
Help me against this horrible take.
that
Sadie.
is
Help me.
that is actually really good. I actually really like.
I'm
that
going
one.
to get murdered in the comments.
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Okay, well, there we go. That was the is not side. We had some really good points pop up. The fact that Dan Salvato himself made clear comments on the character. The fact that the character doesn't have a dedicated sprite. And even when we do see a sprite for him, it was just the concept art never implemented into the game. Now, I will throw one additional thing out that I personally have thought of, and I wanted to hear the is and the is not side for both, but we'll obviously start with the is not, and then I'll ask later again if you don't talk about it during the is. Let's talk about the fact that we do in fact see the MC in the game through some CGs, but we never see his face. What do you think of that when it comes to him being a character or not being a character?
I have.
It's the is not. We'll do is in a second.
Ooh.
He's dying. Marcus dying. Marcus
Well,
dying.
We're still probably gonna get torn up. I was kind of hoping his Google Doc, Mason's Google Doc, was gonna carry us here. It
You
seems
brought up
like it was...
everything I put in here.
Okay.
Basically summarize the entire thing.
Well, yeah, we don't see his face at all. We see the face of every other character, and not showing his face symbolically would mean that he's not really a character. He's just the player. He's just there to be the player. Otherwise, they would show our face. I have an excellent counter argument to it, though.
Hey,
Look,
I do gotta mention,
Mhm.
they do show technically the MC is in multiple different CGs. Like I know in the Yuri like homework scene or poem writing one, but it's just his hand. Like it's only like you can see like half of his hand, or I think
Yeah.
there's another one where it's like his arm or something like that.
You
So
can't
it's-
call him a character. You only
it's
see his
definitely-
hand.
Like background, like don't think too much about him. He's not real.
I need to write this shit down.
Mark, I love debate, Mark. I love debate, Mark. So here's something I want everybody to think on. We're coming up close on the 10 minutes, but something I also want to talking about all these subjects. And this is going to be a little bit of a curveball for honestly for both, because this I'm interested in hearing. We, during the base game, we have, we see and only see the four main girls in like the actual game with sprites, and we do see the MC in a couple of CGs. We also hear about other characters. So we hear about Amy, we hear about Natsuki's dad, we hear about Natsuki's friends. But in DDLC Plus, we actually see Natsuki's friends, but they are completely blacked out and silhouetted. Do you consider those sprites, those characters, to be actual characters? This is for the is not right now.
And that's really a gray area. I'm gonna lean towards not, just because I brought up the entire. I guess both of us brought up the CG thing where they're not in any CGs, and they're just a silhouette. So, I mean, yeah, they. I guess you could technically say they are characters because they are in the game, and they are characterized to some degree. But once again, it's like very shallow.
I would say it would be like calling him a character would be almost similar to calling like just an individual person a character in a comic. Like you can just say, oh, well, in DC Comics, there's a guy called Maximilian Fernando the Seventh, but he never shows up in the comics, but that's probably the name of someone who exists. Technically, yeah, he's a character. He's technically part of that universe, but you don't really see him much. So, is he really a character?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, well, that kind of will be wrapping up our first open mic, letting them talk subject on the is not. Now we're going to go into the is. Now this, as of right now, our goal is not to like converse back and forth. We want to hear your points of why he is. You can say, this is what I think X, Y, and Z. And if you don't bring up some of the questions I asked earlier that I want for both, I'll bring it towards the end. But as of right now, before we actually go into the back and forth, let's hear your points for he is a character. So I'll open the floor and the mics to Mark and Eli.
All right, you want to go for Smoke or me?
I mean, okay. So is this the part where I debunk every single thing that was said, or do we leave that to later?
We'll hold off on the debunking. We'll do the conversation back and like responding to their statements to after your segment. Let's give your original thoughts of why he is the one.
Okay.
Like just to say this is X, Y, and Z is why I think he is a Doki or a character.
So I think he's a Doki because he wears a brown vest, just like the rest of them. He has skin, just like the rest of them. I know that you don't see his face, but you don't see Yuri's ass, so...
That's for another debate, Mark. That's for the third debate about. We'll debate back and forth if that exists. You're jumping.
Objection.
Oh, you had to say it. I'm sorry.
You're jumping we can't have spoilers,
Dude.
man.
Objection,
Yes,
irrelevancy, Your Honor.
Objection irrelevancy. Okay. Fair.
It's not your turn.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say the joke.
That's a good joke. That was good.
I had like 20 minutes in this call, so. Anyway. I like him as a character because I feel like it feels shallow to me in a storytelling perspective if Sayori, Natsuki, Monica, and Yuri are just talking to a wall and not to any actual human being or a character or a construct or whatever you want to call it. I like feeling him as a character because he bounces off of each of the characters very well. I feel like he melds with each of them, except for Monica. He doesn't like Monica, clearly, because he doesn't even try to go with her. But that's fine. Nobody likes her. I'm just kidding. We'll get there in the future episode. I'm joking. Yeah, that's about it. What about you, Lori?
Alright, so part of my argument with he is a character, I know this was brought up earlier ago, but obviously in the CGs, in some of them you see his hands, and there's that one CG where he's hugging Sayori. Now, it was brought up that, well, I mean, you don't really see his face, but here's the thing. Do we need to see his face for him to qualify as a character? Because here's the thing. He's meant to be us, the player character. Obviously. Do we really have to see his face in order for him to qualify as what would be a real character? Like, him hugging Sayori, like, obviously, the attention is on Sayori because in that moment, we accept Sayori's confession, and she's hugging us. Is there really a point in seeing a face if it's a hug? Like, it's not like no side hug or nothing, so it's like, what is there supposed to be a second version of the CG where we see Sayori's back head where we can see his face? And as you said earlier ago, Natsuki's dad, we hear about him, but we never actually see him. So it's like, would you call him an actual character or not? And same with Natsuki's friends in the side stories. You do see them, but they're just, they're just blank sprites. We don't like see faces or anything. So would you call them fake characters too? You could say yes, but the thing is, and this is another thing, is that the MC, like I said, is meant to be us, but it's meant to be like around the love game before the crazy stuff happens. Like, he's a character that he can either go with Sayori, the childhood friend, Yuri, the bookworm, or Natsuki, the manga and cupcake. You can go with that, and you could say that his behavior does change depending on which route you go, but I think that makes him a character even more because the fact that he has those different types of development makes him feel even more characteristic than if he just stayed the same regardless on which route you went.
I have a comment, and this is not just because they brought up this in their argument. I was actually going to bring this up regardless, but Natsuki's friends are portrayed as black shadows, right? They're just black shadows. We don't get to see their faces. We just like MC, but unlike MC, we don't even get to see their clothing colors. We don't get to see their skin colors. For all we know, they could be Latinas. They could be black. They could be white. We don't know. They could be Chinese. They could be from America because this takes place in Japan. This will take place in Japan. That should be a debate. Later on. Anyway, that's one thing is that MC gets to have an actual presence in the CGs, which is interesting because he doesn't get sprites, but they do. So now that I think about it, that's
Makes you think. Well, here's a question for the two of you. We're talking about, like, I'm glad you kind of mentioned him having a presence. One of the things we learn about a lot in the game for most of the characters is their backstories. We learn about Yuri's past and her issues and her interest. We learn about Natsuki's families. We learn about a family. We learn about all these different things, likes, dislikes, and everything. We also do learn a little bit about the MC as well. He does have a little bit of a backstory. He was Sayori's best friend growing up. He was in class with Monica last year. He's interested in anime, all these little things. Do you think those aspects give him more meaning to be a character?
Yes, that was actually something I completely forgot. Like, I obviously remember the whole him and Sayori were childhood friends because that's explained at the very beginning of the game, but I almost completely forgot about the whole, he was in class with Monica the previous year. So because he has that backstory, I feel like that, makes him a lot more real than most people would think. The fact that he even has that kind of backstory at all. Because if he just wasn't a real character and you're just someone who's just meant to fall in love with the girls and stuff, why would they even bother giving him a backstory at all?
Counter argument to that, what about Amy? We learned a little about Amy and how she doesn't like spiders, and spiders are gross. So that's a little bit of a backstory for a character. Would that make her a character just as much as the MC? Or is she a little different?
Well, okay, counter argument to that, is she even a real person? Because when you read the poem, Natsuki almost seems to be speaking in a way that's kind of herself with the whole, they don't like her because she likes spiders and that's just gross no matter what. I kind of feel like that kind of goes into her with her love for manga and her friends disliking her for manga. So it's like, maybe the poems are just a counteractive and she's not actually referring to an actual person, just kind of speaking her mind in a completely different way.
I actually never even considered Amy as a real person. I thought that was a construct for the sake of the poem. But
Good job. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I
Good
think
point.
I think I got you standing right there, Tana.
Well, I was curious if you'd bring that up. That was why I kind of threw it out there. I'm like, I was curious if you'd have that similar point of something slightly different. But no, that is, you're making good points of why this could be considered for this, but not for this. That's the point of the debate. Anything else, Mark,
Mhm.
Eli? Anything else with the for the is? Any other points that you want to bring up that hasn't been brought up before, or yet?
Nothing that's not debunking the other side. No.
Okay, he's ready for that.
Um,
That's next. Don't
I
worry.
guess one thing that I do want to add is, it was brought up earlier that we do actually see his face, but that was more of beta than final. But it's like, who's to say that that's not just actually his face? And like I said, what's the point of even showing it if it's just meant to be us, the character, and there's not really a CG where showing his face is really necessary? But it was there in case they needed to.
Well, there we go. We have now heard both the is and the is not side. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open up to the debate portion. So here, pretty much, if you heard something that you're like, wait a minute, I want to say something about that, this is where we can kind of go back and forth. So I know Mark is itching to go and start trying to debunk a few things. So what we'll kind of do here is we'll let Mark talk, and then like you'll say kind of your point to this. We'll let the is not crew counter that argument if they want to, and kind of go from there. So this is one we'll try our best not to talk over each other. Like if somebody starts talking, make sure to give them the floor and everything. But this is the much more open mic concept where we can really start discussing and digging deep. So Mark, I know you have been itching to get to this point, so we'll let you start with the first topic you want to bring up and counter.
So what was brought up was that one thing that was brought up was Dan Salvato's comments. I guess it's plural. He said it multiple times. I myself have watched his live streams, most of them at least. So I am aware that he doesn't see his character as a character, I guess. But my counter argument to that is, well, death of the author is what it's called. You don't need to. Okay. I need to think of something other than Harry Potter for this analogy, or else we're all getting in trouble.
No, it's all good, man. Now characters are characters.
Okay.
Feel free to compare.
So, let's say, okay, let's say J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter. Oh God, this is not. No, I don't think that. I'm scared. I'm too scared.
Don't worry. Look, if I
okay.
feel like it needs to be taken out, I'll tweak it in editing. Don't be
okay.
worried. Don't be worried
Okay,
about it.
Okay. So, because I'm not even sure until I say it out loud, I'm not even sure if it's gonna sound good or not. But so J.K. Rowling says that Snape has white skin, right? And then now she's saying it's okay for him to have black skin for a show, which is totally cool, by the way. In real life, I'm okay with it. But one could plead death of the author because she is now saying two separate things, and you, as the reader of a book, you can say, well, you don't actually say, except for here, here, and here. You do say here, here, here that he is white, so you shouldn't be making him black because actually he's supposed to be white. You know, that's death of the author, where you're going against what the author is saying to prove something different.
I have an amazing rebuttal.
I would love to hear it. Let's go. And by the way, I am not racist. I love.
Yeah, no,
It didn't sound,
I don't think
it didn't sound racist at all.
I would hope
No,
it didn't
no.
sound racist.
You actually brought up a point that kind of compares to what we're talking about.
Yeah, I was gonna do Dumbledore, and then I'm like, no, Not
So-
too hard. Not
My debunking of that is that good acting transcends just the writing. If an actor can portray that character much more accurately, but just so happens to be a different skin color than what they are in the book, then you would have every right to go for the person who can just act that character better. Because
Okay.
when it comes to filmmaking and running shows, it is the impact of the actors, what the actors can convey to the audience, that is more important than their skin color. That's why when it comes down to like cartoons and anime, you have people who are female voicing male characters, you have people who are different skin colors voicing characters of other skin colors, because it doesn't matter. It's all about the acting. So I don't really think that can compare here.
Okay.
Death of the Author is absolutely an amazing argument to bring up. However, I think the specific argument brought up doesn't necessarily help your case.
See, I'll even throw a little bit in right here as a little playing some devil's advocate for both sides. So you're mentioning Death of the Author. So I'm gonna hit up yours first, and then I'll say something against towards yours, CMD. So for kind of what the author says. So let's say we go by the fact that, hey, the author said this in the game, said this in real life, but what if 10 years down the line the author decides to change his story up completely, going back to what is now actually this? And that's something you think on to discuss. And so here's another one for CMD, talking about how portrayals, which this kind of I don't think will necessarily work within the game itself, but let's play devil's advocate anyways. What if, when we're looking at characters like Natsuki, right? We see this, and like, let's say there was a live action version of DDLC. What if Natsuki was played by a 6'7", extremely muscular Amazon, because she could act like a brat, and like pretty well, and like those little things too. So kind of two little counterpoints I want you to think on for both. Like, I'm not saying which one's right, which one's wrong, but two little counterpoints. But so go ahead, continue reopening the floor to counter rebuttals, to countering the counter rebuttals and whatnot.
I got one.
Go ahead.
So, on the side of Death of the Author, or whatever you want to call it, I also want to add to the fact that there are, creators of other franchises that will describe a character one way, but then they completely change it much later, and it almost goes against what was said before, or a certain storyline. Like, for example, Jack Sparrow, we know how he's portrayed. He is a pirate who is very intelligent. He's very intelligent. He knows how to escape situations. But then, in the fourth movie, he seems to almost not have... I mean, there's that one scene in the beginning where he plans a perfect escape plan, but throughout the rest of the movie, he doesn't really seem to have that confidence that he did. Like, whenever Barbossa and Blackbeard were fighting each other and all of them were fighting, Jack Sparrow didn't try to run from it like he would, and also kind of interrupted everybody, which he could have easily just gotten himself killed that way, and that's not how he was portrayed in the other movies. And then the fifth movie, he just straight up portrayed as a drunk pirate, and while he did drink in the first two movies, he was never, like, to the point of just being a hopeless loser like he was in the fifth movie. So that's kind of a little bit of, kind of a bit of character assassination, so that might be a little bit different, but I feel like that kind of goes back on, like what the author or creator says and shows, and then it just changes much later, and it's just kind of like, what's your interpretation of it all?
I get it. So you're basically saying that just because the author said one thing outside of the lore doesn't necessarily mean it's concrete inside of the lore. That's kind of what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Any
something like that.
The is not team. Any type of rebuttal you kind of want to bring up?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I should really even say this. It's just kind of like agreeing with you, Eli, but I kind of disagree with the point, even though I think I'm supposed to be disagreeing. Like,
it's okay.
No, it's okay. I mean, you can say technically the author could change his mind. Like, it's not
I mean,
happened yet, but
if they make a
it's,
sequel, can they not change the character at all?
you're right. You're not incorrect. The
Yeah.
thing there, I'll say, is he hasn't. It hasn't happened yet. It may
Yeah, it
happen.
hasn't happened yet.
It may happen 100 years down the line, but it's not happened yet.
Dan, please, I need this. I need this. Say he's not a character, please. I got scared. One of my fish almost jumped out of the tank, so I missed like the entire like latter half of what Eli was saying. So
Well, that's I catch that fish, man. I've had that happen before. I like that. That was a good kind of rebuttal, counter rebuttal, going back and forth with the fact that, you know, he said something, but does that really matter? And that's something to think on. In fact, in the comments down below, what do you think? Does it even matter what the developer of the game says, or any game says, if it's not concrete in the lore? If it's not there, if they like, you know, does stuff matter outside of the lore? Like, yeah, I mean, the dev could say Monica has a secret twin embedded on her skull covered by her hair. Does that make it true? That's something to think on, and you know what, discuss down below. But let's move on to another. Is there any other counter rebuttals that you heard the other team say and you want to kind of like bring back up? We'll give I'm sure Mark has a couple, but we'll give the other three a chance to say if they want to bring something up. If not, Mark, we'll give it back to you. So anybody else have something you kind of want to bring up?
Not me.
I guess it's not really nothing strong, but I actually kind of forgot to mention this before. But when I say MC is not a real character, I mean, I understand that he's technically in the game, and I guess to some degree he is a character. But, dude, what was I even going to say? I'm actually losing my mind right now. You know, I just don't feel like he's really in the game enough and like mentioned enough throughout the game's script and writing just to be like classified as like a real character. And even in like the merchandise and stuff, like we don't see like MC anywhere in there. Which hey, I feel like we need to bring up the MC more. You know, if he is a real character, of course. Dan Salvato hasn't really made an official statement.
I think you and Elroy both have a counter argument, and I think it might be the exact same thing.
Yeah,
right,
let's test that for a second. So, with what you just said, actually, he technically is brought up because, like, in the very beginning of the game, he's there. Sayori brings him into the club. The whole point of that entire sequence is introducing MC to the club, and then throughout the rest of the days, not only does he have an effect, not even just depending on which route you go through, like Sayori, Natsuki, and Yui's route, like not even just that, but like, and you know, with his development kind of being somewhat different, but like, you know, he hangs out with the girls, so he is brought up, maybe not by name, but he is brought up. Not to mention that, you know, throughout all of like Act 1 and Act 2, they're saying, hey, Eli, let me show you my poem. Hey, we need to also share this poem with Eli too. Hey, we need to, hang on just a second, I need to gather my bearings. In Act 2, it all revolves around Monica and Yuri just kind of fighting over the main character, and he's obviously brought up, said by name, because they're arguing about him and spending time with him. Same kind of goes with, because in Yuri's route, Monica is a lot more nosy, and she tries to somewhat pull you away from Yuri, so there is a brought up effect there. And this is actually maybe a good last point of this, but in one point of the side stories, this is kind of debatable, but there is one moment where Sayori brings up that she has a friend indeed. While it may not be necessarily confirmed that it is MC directly, what other friend would she be referring to, since that is the one friend that she mostly talked about before the events of the base game, based on what the other girls have said, like Yuri being like, hey, you must be the one Sayori's always talking about.
I have a rebuttal.
Let's hear it.
So you bring up that Monica and Yuri fight for MC. That's not entirely correct, because Monica's not fighting for MC at all. Monica couldn't care less about the main character. Monica's target is the player, not the main character. To her, the main character isn't even a wall. He's just a window to look at the player. So she doesn't even recognize the MC as a character at all. She at least recognizes Yuri, Sayori, and Natsuki as characters, But to her, the MC just isn't at all. He's not a character in the same capacity as the others.
You got a counter, Eli?
Yes, I do. While that part may indeed be true, another thing is that she still needs the MC character to even interact with the player. Now, yes, that's all fine for the player, not necessarily the MC. But the thing is that even then, he's kind of the entire reason. That just goes back on what I just said. Okay, something better. Oh yeah, there is a bit of conflict. So like, when you're going for Yuri or Natsuki, and the MC gets a little worried about Sayuri, like Yuri and Natsuki will both notice that you're worrying about Sayuri, and they almost kind of have that kind of conflicted look, almost as if they kind of have competition with Sayuri or something like that. If you look at their expression, like Sayuri thinking about her, and something like that. And with me bringing up the argument, there's that one with Natsuki and Yuri where they're trying to get MC to help one of them, and they are talking about the MC at that moment.
Yeah, so I'm not like the most confident in this, so I'm going to debunk my own debunk. I think Eli could have brought it up, but I don't know if he knew the words for it. But when I said the MC is more of a window to the player, you could easily, in fact, even more easily argue he's actually more of not a window, but a vessel for the player, which would give credence to him being a character. I don't know if you guys know it. Maybe some of your audience does. Jujutsu Kaisen. Yuji Tadori plays the vessel for the main villain, Sukuna. Yuji is still a character. He's very much a character. Everyone sees him as Yuji. But Sukuna's also there. It could be the same with the player because, Monica still has to pull MC over to her to get access to the player.
Yeah.
Which completely deconstructs my entire debunk.
So what you're saying,
Are we being converted?
So what you're saying is that I, as a player, am possessing this main character, and the fact that I'm possessing anything proves that he is a character.
Yes.
Awesome.
So here's something I'm going to bring up. It's something that hasn't been brought up yet, and I was waiting to see if somebody would think of it, but it hasn't happened yet. So, in the game, we mostly see 4 characters, right? And these 4 characters have a name. And then we have our player character, who doesn't. This player character is only given a name if we choose to give him a name. So, does that fact make the fact that does that mean this person is real, or does this more make them a puppet? Does this more make them an idea, a concept? Because does it make them more us playing the game and seeing the game as this character? Because let's say this: I've heard, I've not played a crazy amount of visual novels, but I've been playing more and more. And when we have a character in the game that's more like, set to important and set to a plot, they generally will have a default name, be it first or last name. The MC has neither. They have nothing unless we give it to them. We could literally name him Carl, or we could name him Poopy Fart Face, and it wouldn't change the story at all. Does that matter in being a character? Yes or no?
Yeah, so I was gonna... Actually, do you want to go first, Eli?
You can go first.
I have something. And this might literally be exactly what Tanner was debunking, and this might not be. But Final Fantasy VII, the main character defaults to the name Cloud, but you are able to name him whatever you want.
Dude, I was gonna print that same exact thing.
Nice. Because and it's the same thing for every single Final Fantasy game.
Mm-hmm.
Even Final Fantasy X. I think it goes until like 12 or 15, 13, where finally the main character has a set name. But an argument can be made like what Tanner said, is you do have a default name. MC does not have that. We all
Yeah.
call him MC because literally he has no name other than main character or protagonist. And those aren't even names, those are just titles. So I guess those are arguments for the other side. There you go.
Yeah. That's what I
CMD
was
gave
gonna
us a argument for us. I'll return the favor. There we go.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. He doesn't have a default name, and it's like, can you really call him necessarily a character when he can be John, he can be Stamos, he can be like, I don't know, Body Pillow, if you wanted to call him that. As my friend so kindly did in his playthrough like 3
That's
days
great.
ago.
That's amazing.
So he doesn't have a name. So that also calls into question all of the backstories of MC as well. Because MC didn't spend time with Monica. MC isn't Sayori's best friend. Connor is, or Tanner is, or Eli, or Eli's antithesis. Ellie is the
Bravo.
person who spent time with Sayori
Right.
and Monica. So you could reasonably argue that no, he's not a character because the character is whoever you name them.
There you go.
I have.
Well,
Go ahead.
I definitely got something to say to all that, Mr. DMC. So, to
Watch out, I may
So-
strike you.
as for what y'all just said with even characters from Final Fantasy, there's a default name. The Legend of Zelda, when you're going to name Link, it doesn't default to Link. You can name him whatever you want. Link's not even the default. In fact, you can even, if you call him Zelda,
No, on the attack, Tanner.
Tanner, I think you're haunted.
Anyways,
Eli,
as
you're
I-
bringing up such a good point that it's
on.
tearing his stuff apart.
so,
Lori's
So,
point is causing his loss to little more.
yeah, so it's like with like, and when you name him Zelda, it actually plays a special sound, but none of the other names do that. So is Zelda like his real name, since that one actually plays a sound? No, his name is actually Link, like discussed in the lore. But again, that's not even his default name, and you can name him whatever you want.
Look. This is the big.
So is he a fake character?
Here's the one thing. Well, I'll actually counter you just because you brought up Legend of Zelda, and as somebody who really likes Legend of Zelda, I don't think people can see that. You can't see it, but that is true to where you could technically name him whatever you want. There are a lot of the games that do default to Link, and you can change it. Same with his horse defaults to Epona, but you can also change it. But the actual company has given him the name Link. Team Salvato has never given an actual name for the MC. It'd be different if they called him Marcus Clayton or MC or like something like that, but they've never given him a name. They always refer to him as that.
Yeah, so adding on to that, you can also say because in the other games they do default him to Link, there's no such thing for DDLC. It's not like there's a DDLC 2 that might be coming out. It's not, don't worry. But unless a DDLC 2 does miraculously come out sometime within the next 5 decades, there's no other game where he has a name.
I also
I
wanted to-
have a big argument. So big that it'll cause the other team to fall down just like Tanner's wall.
Oh, here we
Um,
there you go.
So I've been waiting to say that for like 5 minutes now. So number one, the Dokis don't have schizophrenia. At least I don't think they do. But it feels like you guys were saying that he does by saying that there is no character.
That was not my.
I never said that you said that. I'm
Yeah, I know,
saying
I
that
know.
that's what.
I can see where you're getting at it though. It's really
But also a second point. I didn't know how to phrase it. I just wrote the word schizophrenia on my on my list. I didn't write down an actual argument. I just wrote it down, so I didn't really know what to say. But the next one I do know what to say. So, have any of you ever played Life is Strange?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've played it.
I've never played it.
Do you guys
Or
care
heard of
about
it.
a minor spoiler?
Go ahead.
No.
Okay. Spoiler alert for Life is Strange. In the game, you play as a character named Maxine Caulfield, aka Max, and her best friend, who may or may not be a lover, his name is Chloe, and Chloe really liked this other girl named Rachel Amber. Okay, and the whole game is up until I think about 2/3 of the way through the game. You're basically the Chloe character is searching for this Rachel person. She's putting up wanted posters. She's putting up wanted posters everywhere in the school that she doesn't even go to anymore. She got expelled, but she still puts them up like illegally or whatever. She puts them up all around the park, all around the city, the town, all that stuff. And then, about midway through the game, you find out that she had passed away, of the Rachel character. But the thing is this Rachel is very important to the story, guys. She never appears once.
Ooh.
She has a picture. One picture. But she never appears. Never speaks. She's only shown in more media afterwards. She never appears, never speaks. We don't even see her body.
But she has a name, and there is a developed backstory to her. Whereas with MC, it's again not necessarily the same, and I'm gonna just retread exactly what I said before because I have very little material to work with here. The MC is literally just Connor, he's Mark, he's Tanner, he's Ellie, he's Eli, he's Mason, he's CMD.
He is Enigma.
Yes, he is Enigma,
crammed.
precisely.
Can I bring something up? So,
I wonder if anything.
has anyone heard of Me Side?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, look at the protagonist in there. I feel like the protagonist in there and DDLC actually share a lot in common. I guess you can argue in there he actually has a 3D model, and you can even look at him in the mirror in that, and like the one scene where you take the pills. But literally the only reason of him being there is just to be controlled by the player. That's my argument. Is like, yeah, they might have some characterization, like they're friends with Monica and Sayori, and they go to the school, and Me Side, he's like Mita's a lover, and he's making friends with all the other Mitas, but in the end, he's still just, his only purpose is just to be controlled by the player, and the little things that he does have doesn't compare to something like Life is Strange, or I mean, even other games like Final Fantasy where they get full-blown character development.
Mm-hmm.
Good points brought up all around. Now we
I
are
agree.
coming up close on our hour mark, so I want to kind of leave it off with one last question for discussion. At the beginning, I told the four of you that I wanted to ask about 3 different potential MCs: the base game MC, the plus MC, and any mod MCs. Now, if you had to take a look at the 3 of them, we look at the base game, who has a CG and nothing else. We look at plus, who has he has an actual sprite within the files, and then we look at mods where we actually can see a sprite of the MC sometimes within the mods. Would you change your answer to is or is not based off of plus, base, and mods?
I feel like in DDLC Plus, there is much more of a concrete argument to be had that he is a character than in DDLC Base. In DDLC Base, I think it is quite evident that he isn't truly a character, at least definitely not in the same capacity as the other Dokis. And then in the mods, I mean, like, what are we talking about here? Of course he's a character in the mods. Like, people write him as a character. He's DMC. He's the dense brick that everybody knows and hates but loves to hate.
We do see a huge difference in the well, let's say the two in mods versus MCs. Like, we see a lot of the things that we said didn't make him a character in the base show up in mods. So go ahead, Eli.
So for me, I'd say that the mods in this case, you know, in this particular case, don't necessarily matter because we're really talking about the MC's character from both Doki Doki Base and Plus. I don't technically think there's much of a difference with Plus and Base, but like DMC said, you know, there is a little bit of more concrete since there is a face in the files, but it's not, you know, to me it's more of the same of, again, he's hugging Sayori. Is there supposed to be a second CG where we see Sayori's backhead? But the mods, in this particular case, I don't think would matter in this case. But in the mods, obviously, you know, whether they make him a character or they just make him non-existent, it's all their creativity from there.
Mark, Mason, do you have something you want to bring up for that one question I proposed?
I think the most likely explanation would be I think all three of them are characters, but all three of them definitely have different tiers of what the amount of physical presence they have. The mod version, there are so many mods out there, dude. So in every single one of them, I'm sure the character is real. There's a lot of them where you get to see him and things like that, as you pointed out. But even in the base game, I think the base game, and because like my argument is the base game and DDLC Plus aren't that different in terms of the main character, besides the unused sprite, and the emails, I guess, also give credence to him existing, or at least being a construct of some kind. Which I didn't even bring up in my argument, but whatever. Anyway, other than that, I think they're still character. I think he's still a character. Yes.
Okay, Mason.
Yeah, I gotta agree with some of the things you said, Mark. Like, there's not too much of a difference, but I will say DDLC Plus definitely did have a big impact, giving us a canon official kind of sketch. So I will say that it did definitely do something. And then mods are a whole nother can of worms. I mean, you can do whatever you want with them. You can, I mean, I'm sure they even have the MC like in a bunch of CGs and like Blue Sky, or I actually haven't played the entire thing. Don't hate me, but like a whole bunch of them, like you get it. They can make him an entire character. What was the one I was playing? I think it was like after Doki Doki After School or something. It was like when they would go to college or something. Like, if it was way more like an actual character instead of a puppet that the player just uses to speak to the other characters.
I like
World
it.
of Dreams.
World of Dreams. That mod like goes into all sorts of potentials of what's a character of him and whatnot. Either way, guys, I think this has been a great discussion, a great debate back and forth. We've heard really interesting aspects from both sides, both is and is not. Now, dear viewers, it is up for you to decide. What do you think? Do you think the MC is a real character or a Doki? Or was your mind changed? Did we not bring up a point you wanted to bring up? Let us know in the comments below. I definitely have my opinion on if he is or is not, but you won't find out till later. Let's stay tuned for part 2. That may or probably will never happen. Who knows? We'll see. If you really liked this particular debate structure, like this particular way we did things, let us know in the comments. And if you want to actually do see a part 2 of a deeper dive into like, is MC a real character? Let us know too. We have a lot of fun debates planned, and so we want to hear from you. Either way, I think that's good. We're hitting up right at an hour, which is our normal cutoff point for this podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. And any last words, gentlemen? Any last words?
I think you guys can blame Mark for our side winning, because if he didn't bring out his emotional support pet, I wouldn't have had to bring out my trump card, the emotional support Sayori, which
Man.
totally changed the game. I would have completely collapsed at least like 3 seconds into debating otherwise.
There you go.
Thank you, Sayori.
My last words are we don't get to see Yuri's butt, like I said before.
The real shame of the entire
It's a tragedy.
game. Stay
Dude.
tuned.
All I gotta say is
And,
I made your wall collapse.
Yeah, apparently, like, man, I've had so many of these things fall off, it's not even funny. Anyways, guys, we hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!
See you.
Auf Wiedersehen.